Hello, I wanted to do a review. It's long awaited for the Vintage Glam. I said vintage hair last time. I didn't mean vintage hair. Vintage Glam styling products from Sally Beauty. I think a few vintage stylists on YouTube have done reviews so far. I know that Ashley Marie really enjoys the hairspray, so I was very excited when they offered to send some to me for the purpose of review. I was very skeptical because honestly I have products that I love, including Elnet and Motion's Foaming Wrap Lotion and my Sahag, or Sahag, however you pronounce it, mousse that I use as a setting lotion. And the one thing that I found immediately off-putting about this brand, or this line, is the fact that there was nothing catered towards a actual vintage set. There is nothing in here that is specifically for a wet set. And so automatically that is a bit off-putting to me, because I feel like that if it's going to be called Vintage Glam, there needs to be at least something that's there for us to use in our vintage styling needs. Like a setting lotion or, you know, a styling cream or something like that. But let me say that what I have here is absolutely wonderful, and it is especially catered towards the those who are doing heated sets to mimic a vintage look. That's fine with me because I do that sometimes, but even for my wet sets, I find that this still works. It still works really well for that purpose, and let me just show you how I use it. The first thing I want to talk about is my favorite thing from the line. This is the Thermal Freeze Spray. This hairspray is a perfect blend of like that hard as, I mean, that like bed head or big sexy hair stuff that's like hard as a rock, that has kind of that wet quality to it, that's known to be a really great hairspray for freezing a style. And Elnet, which is a more soft hold hairspray, which is really great for vintage styles because it kind of keeps the frizz down, but it also really maintains hold, especially in a low humidity environment. This hairspray, which is called the Thermal Freeze Spray, works so much better for my environment than the Elnet does because it is kind of a blend between those two things. It will absolutely hold a style in absolute place. If you spray your victory rolls or your hair, sections of hair, and then roll them into victory rolls, it's going to make them frozen and hard and really, really easy to roll, but it's also excellent for maintaining, for doing just basically a soft once-over with a vintage hairstyle. So keep that in mind as well, is that it works extremely well for both a wet set, like just a waved hairstyle that's been pin curled, but it also works really well for a modern style such as your big voluminous victory rolls and things like that. And then also they sent me the Thermal Shine Spray. Now the Thermal Shine Spray is not something I use as a heat protector. The reason is because it is very emollient. It's got an oily sheen to it. So therefore I do not use it as what it's intended for, just to do any kind of heated set. I use it on a wet set after it has been sprayed with the actual setting or actual freeze spray. I use it to just add shine, and it adds immediate shine. As a pomade, it of course wouldn't work because it's like a dry oil spray, so it's not going to work like, say, Layrite would. Layrite is really excellent for keeping frizz down for, you know, these areas here that got the baby hairs or whatever. You know, rubbing some Layrite in there, or, you know, in your pompadour styles or whatever, that's going to be ideal. Those are going to be things that are appropriate for a pomade. But for just adding that movie star glimmery shine that you see in all the movies, especially on top of a pin curl set that might just have a little of that token frizz still evident in it, this is awesome. It is just incredible. And I think that for adding shine, there is nothing that I would recommend more for fine hair, because I haven't noticed that it causes the style to piece out and become greasy over time. So that makes it invaluable. I'd say these are both my favorite things. My third item I wanted to show you was the curling iron cream. This is really excellent for thick hair. It's really good for curly hair. If you're somebody who does your pin curls with a curling iron like Cherry Dollface or Ashley Marie have made very, very popular here on YouTube, it's an excellent way to get a vintage look with a heated set. Probably at least as much as any other, you know, hot sticks or Remington tight curls. I use both of those instead of a curling iron set because I personally don't enjoy using a curling iron, but a curling iron is excellent for thick-haired girls because there's never enough rollers for you thick-haired girls. This is basically a protectant for thick and coarse and curly hair. It's going to help your hair maintain that sheen. It's going to help keep it nice and bouncy, but also give it some, it's going to piece it out enough to where it's easier to curl. And if your hair is naturally curly, it's going to just contribute to the curl. I do not recommend this for fine, thin hair like mine. Absolutely do not. I think it would be an excellent product for me to use on my ponytail extension, though, if I wanted to use a heated set on it. So keep that in mind. And last but definitely not least, this is the Texturizing Powder. The Texturizing Powder is like similar, it smells wonderful. It's just like a waxy powder. You can see it's not silky, it's waxy. And what it does is it basically, like you can see, it starts to ball up on my hand, and the reason is because it's kind of a wax, and you put it at the base of your hair if you're going to be teasing, doing high volume styles. It really, really does an excellent job with that. So this is an excellent product for teasing. Because dry shampoo is so common and you can find it in every drugstore, I think that's probably going to make this not as big a seller as maybe the other products in the line that are a little less easy to come by, or a little less easy to duplicate. But this works better than any dry shampoo that I've ever found for teasing. Of course, it doesn't eliminate oils at the scalp like a dry shampoo does, so you probably have to use both if you were trying to work on second or third day hair, but it's an excellent base for teasing. Actually, I mean, I can't imagine a better base for teasing than this stuff. This is the Vintage Glam Texturizing Powder. So that's everything in the line. I am a big fan. I'm beyond a big fan. I'm trying to figure out how often I'm going to have to order because there's no Sally Beauty anywhere near me, so that's unfortunate. But other than that, I can't say anything bad about it. So I'll put prices down below. Actually, I might just put prices here in the video. You may have already seen them, actually. And that's all there is to say about that. If you have any questions about this line of products, then please let me know, and I will be happy to oblige. More stuff coming as far as product reviews go. I've got a lot of stuff that I gave you guys a heads up about, and I didn't want to do too many at one time, so this is just for today. And then next week we'll move on to some of the other products that I had mentioned, but these were definitely at the top of my list to review for you guys. So we'll talk to you later. Bye.